I attended Millard Fillmore Elementary School through the 6th grade. There was a boy in school. I don't recall his name, but his family owned a hatchery. At Easter time each year, we would hear the persistent peep, peep, peep of hundreds of pastel-colored Easter chicks in containers in the hallway of the school. Every child who wanted one received one free of charge, much to the disdain of parents who later had to rid themselves of full-grown roosters and hens. One year my sister Denise and I brought 2 little chicks home and lovingly placed them in a cardboard box in the garage. We squealed with delight at the softness of their downy feathers. At school they had instructed us to keep the baby chicks warm by placing a light bulb in the box, especially at night. No one bothered to mention specific wattage, I suppose assuming our parents would help us out, not knowing the autonomy of children in my family. So that night, my sister and I placed a 100-watt bulb into the box, kissed their little beaks, and went to bed. The next morning we got up and ran to the garage to check on the chicks. When we looked down into the box, our smiles turned to horror and then to disgust. Our beautiful, soft baby chicks were lying on the bottom of the box, stiff and dead. Their eyeballs were grotesquely popped out of their skulls. I could only imagine that the heat from the lamp had boiled their blood, and this was the remains of some dreadful biological explosion. We stood there, staring down into the box for a while, and I found my initial shock and revulsion changing to curiosity. "Let's dissect them," I suggested. My sister looked up, thought a moment, and finally replied, "Okay, I'll get a knife," and ran off to the kitchen. I carried the tiny corpses out to the patio. We both plucked off all the feathers and examined the now naked bodies. I then began to cut them apart. We meticulously examined every organ, as if we might discern from this primitive autopsy the cause of death. We cut the feet off, and my sister later gave hers to her best friend, who had them hanging on her bulletin board for years. In actuality, we didn't learn much more about chicken anatomy than we might have from a store-bought fryer. But it's a memory my sister and I share, and we laugh about any time anyone mentions Easter chickens.